Hello YouTube, I'm Steve Patton with General Patton Bushcraft. I want to welcome you back to the channel and I'm super excited, friends. Today I get to announce the next season, season 10 of Alone. I got the whole cast for you today. We're going to go through all 10 participants. Stay tuned. Okay friends, this is Meet the Cast of Alone. History's popular survival show Alone is back for season 10 and it's the toughest one yet. This time a new group of brave participants are pushed to their limits and tap into their impressive survival skills in a fight to be the last person standing to win $500,000. 10 survivalists will compete with each other in northern Saskatchewan, Canada to fight off against territorial black bears, wolves, moose, and the bone-chilling temperatures of the north. All they have are 10 survival items and enough camera gear to self-document their experiences. No camera crews, no gimmicks, friends, just human will. Okay, friends, first up we have Alan Tenta. He's 52 years old and he's a high school teacher. Alan Tenta lives in Columbia Valley, British Columbia, Canada with his wife Lisa and 2 children. As a local high school teacher, Alan's students in his outdoor education class were the ones who originally encouraged him to apply for a loan. At a young age, Alan was introduced to the outdoors under the guidance of his father, where he developed a passion for fishing, hunting, and archery. Today, he enjoys camping with his family and friends, adventurous motorcycling, fly fishing, and hunting. Being a participant this season will be Alan's ultimate adventure. He looks forward to pushing the limits of his physical and mental capabilities in testing his skills as a bow hunter, fisherman, forager, and bushcrafter. Next up, we have Ann Rosenquist. She is 56 years old and she's an off-grid organic farmer. At 5 years old, Ann fell in love with the great outdoors, spending her childhood rambling through the forest, building forts, and learning about the wondrous plants and animals. Fishing, hiking, and cross-country skiing through the boreal forest were her favorite activities all through school. After college, Ann worked different jobs and over the years, including hospitality, bus driver, and shiitake mushroom planter, which ultimately became her career path and life. Ann and her partner, Tom, operate an off-grid organic farm in far northern Wisconsin, deep in the forest, where they grow small fruit trees, herbs, and many vegetables. Both Ann and Tom teach various primitive skills classes at Winter Count, a primitive skills gathering in Arizona every year. Friends, that's my home state, Arizona. On Alone, Ann sought to fully engage all of her accumulated life skills and ingenuity to thoroughly enjoy this experience, no matter what comes her way. Next up, we have the youngest participant, Cade Cole. He's 28, and he's a hunting guide. Cade was born and raised in a rural town in Texas, where he spent most of his childhood hunting, fishing in the Texas Hill Country region. Stories of adventure and tales of long-gone mountain men out west fueled his imagination and fueled his hunger for the wild, leading him to the Rocky Mountains. His lifelong passion for the conservation of wildlife earned him success as a hunting guide with an outstanding reputation as an expert tracker and hunter. Currently, Cade resides in the Wind River mountain range of Wyoming with his wife Danielle and their son Clifford. He hopes this time on Alone can cement a legacy for himself as a hunter of dwindling, untamed lands. Okay, next up, friends, we have James Wyatt Black. He's 50 years old and he's a business owner. Wyatt was born in Barrie, Ontario. He lived his first 9 years in New Lowell before moving to Dorset with his parents. Wayne and Patricia bought a small marina on Lake of Bays. Wyatt comes from a long line of hunters, fishermen, and general outdoorsmen. Since Wyatt could walk, he was in the woods and fishing the lakes and rivers of Ontario with his grandfathers, father, aunts, uncles, and siblings. Growing up in Dorset, Wyatt had the good fortune of meeting some awesome trappers who were more than happy to share their knowledge, wisdom, and stories with a young man who was willing to listen, learn, and help. Wyatt is the proud father of 2 boys, Andrew and Evan, who've given his life new meaning and made every day that much more special. None of it could have been possible without the love and support of Wyatt's lovely wife, Michelle, who he met in high school. Alone has captured Wyatt's attention since he saw the first episode. He's been a fan ever since and has no trouble saying that many of Alone's past participants have touched him in many ways. He is hoping that he can do the same for others while he embarks on his journey to test his skills and share with the world the trials and tribulations that made him who he is today. Okay, friends, next up we have Jodi Rose. She is 45 and she is the owner of Wind River Tables. Jodi's love of all things self-reliance began in childhood. The influence of her homesteading grandparents and parents led Jodi on a lifelong journey of surviving and thriving in the wild. Growing up in the mountains of Wyoming gave Jodi the unique opportunity to be one with nature. Most of Jodi's childhood and teenage years were spent horseback riding in the mountains, following her parents on one adventure to the next all over the state. Her love of the wilderness and animals eventually led her to find her way onto Alone Season 10, where her desire to truly test her skills will become a reality in northern Saskatchewan. Jodi and her partner Frank have 5 children together: Zach, Clayton, Josie, Josh, and Isaac, where they were raised on the family cattle ranch in the middle of Wind River Indian Reservation. Her family resides in the remote wilderness of the Rocky Mountains for 5 months of the year while procuring beetle kill pine for their family furniture business, Wild River Tables. The rest of the year they work side by side building epoxy, river tables, and furniture. Jodi is passionate about living off the land and connecting to God with nature. She continually strives to learn new things and is always testing her self-reliance. Okay, next up we have Ray Dewilde. He's 59 and he's a pilot. Lee is one of 14 children raised in the wilderness by his Caucasian father and Native American mother along the Alaskan waters of the Yukon, Koyukuk, and Huslia rivers. He was born in the woods and he didn't see another community until he was 15 years old when he flew his first plane. His family moved amongst several camps on the rivers throughout the year for trapping, spring hunting, and gardening, lumber milling, and seasonal work in the village of Huslia. He later left the wilderness to continue his education, earning his aircraft maintenance, pilot licenses, and a mechanical engineering degree. After he and his wife Lily raised their children in Fairbanks at their fish camp downriver, they moved back to the villages where he started an aircraft charter business and his wife became a high school principal. Living and serving his people back home in Huslia reconnected Lee with the life he grew up with, inspiring him to learn more from the elders of the land, his ancestral roots, plus educating the younger generation with what he knew. Participating on Alone will provide Lee the opportunity to push his native woods knowledge to the new limits. His hope is to win $500,000 and use it to purchase a larger airplane that will better serve his people. Next up we have Luke Olsen. He's 39 years old an entrepreneur and glass artist. Luke was raised in the deserts of southern Idaho at this family's hot springs resort, Miracle Hot Springs. His parents, Larry and Cheryl, are authors of the #1 best-selling book, Outdoor Survival Skills. At 11 years old, 2 of his brothers let him tag along on a sea kayaking expedition on the Sea of Cortez, and he later guided 10 similar expeditions for Corps of Discovery, solidifying his love for the sea. He is a PADI dive master and surf instructor in Hawaii and loves sharing his love for the water with others. Luke worked at the Parents Foundation, Anasazi, at a very young age, guiding groups through primitive wilderness expeditions. This gave him the opportunity to witness the inevitable changes in values and perspectives that come with overcoming the challenges of wilderness living. Currently, Luke has a glass art business, Dichroic Images, where he teaches ancestral skills at Pono Outdoor, a homeschool enrichment program, and consults for several cannabis operations in Oregon and California. If he wins the prize money, he and his wife plan to develop their own hot springs land in Idaho adjacent to his family's hot springs resort into a community gathering, educational, and healing space. Luke is excited to take on the Alone Challenge to connect with his father, who passed away a few years ago, and to challenge himself and his skill set in a new environment. Next up, we have Melanie Sawyer, 54. She's a living history teacher and founder of Wild Foods. Melanie Sawyer was born in the Cotswolds on the west coast of England, where she mainly spent her childhood in the countryside. She has always felt the most peaceful in the woods and nature, surrounded by trees, learning about plants and wildlife. She was later signed to a modeling agency, and through her travels, she eventually settled in New York City. In 2013, she received the Certificate of Congressional Special Recognition for her work in community. Melanie now lives off-grid with her fiance Brian in the remote beauty and wilderness of the 6 million acre Adirondack State Park. Their home has solar banks for electricity, a 600-foot deep well for water, chickens, ducks, and pheasants for meat and eggs. She believes passionately in sourcing as much of her food as possible directly from nature. In 2021, Melanie combined her love of 18th century history alongside her traditional living, foraging, and survival skills and founded Thunderhawk Living History School. Melanie hopes being part of season 10 will let her put her skills to the test and inspire others to get out in the woods and learn. She wants to press the importance of always trying, even if it means making mistakes in the process. Okay, next up we have Mikey Helton. He's 31 years old and he's a carpenter. At an early age, Mikey spent most of his time in the wilderness, where he felt nature was always a way for him to escape and be free. When he was young, he had to live without common goods. Having no running water or electricity meant learning how to survive. He learned how to hunt, track animals, how to fish and trap, and how to purify water for drinking, and how to start a fire, skills that he continues to hone today. Mikey is a carpenter by trade. He has a beautiful wife, Hazel, and 5 wonderful kids. They practice a lot of natural and traditional methods, making natural medicine, harvesting wild foods, and crafting anything they can from nature. Alone is the opportunity for Mikey to change life for his family, especially for his youngest, an autistic son, Nikolai, to give him more opportunities to help him on his journey and make life easier. All right, our 10th and final Contestant is Taz Ramos dos Santos. He's 35 years old. He's a direct support professional, a musician, and homesteader. Taz was born and raised in the smallest state of Brazil and spent his childhood living off the land without electricity or running water. As he got older, Taz wanted to escape this hardship, so he decided to pursue an education. He fell in love with theater and decided to become a professional actor. At 16, Taz found out he was going to have twins. His acting career brought him to the U.S., and at 24, he crossed the Utah desert in a survival course where he had a change of heart from acting. Taz realized that he had a set of skills that was very valuable for himself and for the world. That year, he decided to embrace nature and dive deeper into the beauty that is connected to all elements of nature: hunting, fishing, foraging, and listening. He found himself on a homestead in western Massachusetts, where he was able to reconnect with nature in a way he hadn't in years. After a couple of years, he moved into his treehouse, where he has been living ever since. Currently, Taz works as a direct support professional, helping individuals on the autism spectrum to explore the natural world by taking them on hiking excursions on the Appalachian Trail, helping them to create gardens, play sports, and practice survival skills. Taz is excited to take on the Alone Challenge. He has dreamed for years of buying a home with a piece of land and bringing his twins from Brazil to live with him on his homestead. If he can pull it off, winning this competition could finally give him a sense of belonging and the warmth of his family in his new country. All right, friends, thanks for tuning in. That's all 10 participants of the new season, season 10 of Alone. I want to thank you for stopping by the channel, and I want to thank you for continuing support. Please consider subscribing. Give the video a like, that icon, and in that drop down menu, do select all, friends. And as always, God is good, God is great. I'll see y'all on the next video, because I've already got a date.